All right, so we are live. So welcome everyone. Today is Friday, which means it is our weekly group coaching session. So sorry, I was a little late getting started. I don't know what was happening with Zoom, but that's just the way it is. I do want to share with you guys. Of course, as you know, we had the high level summit last week, so that was super exciting. So we've been going over all of the cool new releases this week. So if you missed any of them, you could definitely check those out in our community or in our group. I did want to share with you how to join our weekly Q&A if you are one of our resellers. So let me share my screen here. Make sure that you have access or that you can see. All right. So, all right. So you guys can see my screen here, the community. Yes. Cool. Thank you. All right. So inside of the community, you'll see our normal ways of joining. You want to click on here to join the Friday group coaching session. When you click that, you go to the external link here to join. Just make sure to enter in your account email. That way you receive the correct email with the link to the Zoom. But also, I'm going to do away with this because last week during Level Up, we had the events calendar was actually released. So now we can create those events here in the calendar. So you'll see that our open office hours, you can click there and then you'll open up. This goes right to the Zoom link. So you don't have to wait for the email anymore. And if you did want to add that to your calendar, you can click one of these to add those there. So all of the events should be here. You'll see that I am going to do live training on Monday, but I have a dentist appointment. I actually have two dentist appointments. It's a continuation of what I was dealing with before I went to the summit. But so I will be streaming a training there, but I will not be doing open office hours for that reason. So you'll always see the calendar here will be up to date. And you'll also see today is the first. So you want to click here and then you'll get access to the Zoom link. You'll just want to click there and it'll take you right to the Zoom. If you are watching and you are one of our free members, just know that you have the ability to join, or actually I'll say entry level because not everyone is free here, but you do have the ability to join our open office hours Monday through Thursday, but the Friday group coaching session that is for members only. Okay, so if you did want to become a member, you can join our program by going to myvisionagency.com. You can see that you can join the free community here. You can also join our reseller program, which resellers are the ones who get access to our Friday group coaching session. And if you did want to get access to all of the tools that I resell in one place, including HighLevel, you can choose the all tools plan, but that is not part of the reseller program. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. So thank you all so much for joining me. Hopefully you had an awesome week. I've already talked to most of you guys during open office hours, but how are you? How can I help? How's your week been? Slow down, everyone.
Hey there, Bridget. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
This week has been absolutely positively overwhelming in a good way. Watching the information that you shared with us from the Level Up Summit and allowing us even to binge watch while you are away. Like you were the blueprint for a lot of us, how we want to run our session. And so being able to watch you away, getting that information for us, and then us being able to rewatch some of your replays while you were away, and then now all this access that you've given us since you've been back, we are, and I'm pretty sure I speak for the group, we are in a positively way overwhelmed and excited about what you're sharing with us. Thank you again for all of that.
Good, good. And I'm glad to hear the feedback about the live replays. I was hoping that that was going to be cool, but I wasn't quite sure. I know most of you guys are, you're with me every day and all of that, so it may have just been um, you know, double duty or something, but sometimes it's really easy to miss one of those sessions or just maybe get reminded of something cool that maybe you didn't even need at the time that we did the training. And then now you're thinking, oh, now I need that tool. So that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that. Charles, you have your hand up. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? And it was really funny too. I got a lot of work done, which was like specifically GHL work during those time frames because it was already blocked off. And it
Uh,
was just amazing because I was seeing some of the updates and then I was playing with them and execute things, which is why I had a barrage of questions when you came back. And even today, I had a chance to interact with the assistant
uh,
because I tried before and it was down or it was like a technical issue.
uh,
Um, and so I was kind of dismayed by that. But then when I was interacting with it today, I was just like, oh, this is like actually really, really cool. So
yeah.
what my question is, can that work from a standpoint of, I know it's inbound calls only, right?
Or now.
Right. But can it work in a situation where um like the line rings me and if I don't pick up in like two or three rings, then that assistant picks up? Is that possible?
Uh,
I'm
I
always breaking something.
Well, it's just a new thing. So,
Yeah.
and this is why I love to just jump in and start implementing these things because
Hmm.
it's like with the AI agent, I jumped in, I was literally signing up while at the Level Up Summit in the ballroom while Sean was still on stage. I was signing up for the
Right.
AI agent because I was so excited about that. But part of that is I want to break it and I want you guys to test it and confuse it and do all of those things ahead of time before you
Hmm.
guys start using it. So, turns out there was an update. That's why it was broken. There was an update, and I guess I had a box checked that the new update kind of made it not work. So
Hmm.
then I just had to uncheck the box, and that was the solution.
Good deal.
So, so answer, tell me what your question was. I'm so sorry.
No,
I
no,
just
that's, no,
got
no,
into
no,
my
no.
speech about the thing not working.
No. I mean, you were spot on, perfect with a lot of different things. But it was funny when I was talking to it, like my head was exploding because
Yeah.
I saw the prompts, if that makes sense, that it was going through, and I was like, oh, this is really like cool. And so I'm thinking about how my text message responds, and I'm just picturing a voice to that. But what I wanted to do
Yeah, the
is
call.
what I wanted to do is I wanted people to ring me first. And
Mhm.
then if I did not pick up maybe like in two or three rings, then that assistant pickup. For me, that would be like phenomenally powerful
Yeah.
versus just directing it to the AI.
Yeah, that's what I remembered you said that. That's what I was getting back to. And I
Mhm.
was thinking, the reason I thought of that was because when we were troubleshooting, trying to figure out why it was transferring that call,
Mhm.
it reminded me of the call settings inside of your profile. So here's what I'm looking at. Because I don't know for sure, I'll tell you kind of the rabbit hole I would go down to see if I could get it to do that. So I'm thinking, one, you may want to extend this because you'll see here, like when you're choosing inside of your profile, if you go to My Staff and you go to call and voicemail settings, if you choose the phone number that is attached to the AI agent, then you may be able to just extend this before it picks up, but that's not something I'm positive about. Something else I would check is I'm trying to think now where that call whisper option is because I know that they've moved it. Because I'm thinking, really, I'm just kind of speaking out loud while I'm trying to think about. Um, Let me stop sharing here. There is a call whisper option. And I'm thinking maybe that will give you the result that you want.
Well,
I don't,
the call whisper is what that is it's when you call.
and it tells you.
Yeah, it tells you, hey, this message is being recorded, etc. But like your AI bot does say that in the beginning. So the
Yeah.
call whisper there wouldn't necessarily be um needed. But yeah, the call whisper, yeah, if I remember that correctly.
I'm
That's what
just
that is.
thinking, I wonder if that would delay the call and like notify you first.
Mm-mm. That has to do when you're actually how do I say that? I believe that's when when they're picking up the phone, or when you, it's either telling me that I have the call, or it's telling them that the call is being recorded. I can't remember. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I know Martina said if the assistant can answer after a certain number of rings, and that's what I was trying to think about. I don't think that there's like a native way that you can do that,
Be-
but of course, anytime you tell me we can't do something, I always
It,
immediately go into workarounds.
right, because
Like, okay,
I know that, like, if me and you are on a team, and like it's like a round robin effect that we can do right now. So like if the
yeah,
call comes in and it goes to me first, if I don't pick up in 3 rings,
yeah,
then it'll go to you. You see what I'm saying? So I was trying to include the AI in that round robin, if that makes sense.
yeah. I don't think, at least right now, that that is possible. But the reason I can't really like move on from this question, Charles, is because you know how I get when I'm like,
That's
I
why
know
I throw it to you.
there's a way.
That's why I
I
throw it to
know
you.
there's a way.
So it's an alley oop. I'm waiting for you to throw it down.
Yeah, and I just honestly, I just have to think through the process because I just feel like there's a way to make that happen. I just have to like think through it and tinker around for a little bit. If I figure that out, because I'm also like super crazy about this stuff, and I'll probably figure it out tonight.
Right.
Um, but I will do a training next week, if I do figure that out.
Okay. Good deal. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So many cool things to do. But Charles, the other alternative would be, you can choose when the agent picks up, because really the goal of it is to get it to kind of screen your calls. So when the agent picks up, you could forward it to like a specific user, and then, well, that wouldn't help you either. See, this is thanks, Charles. Now I'll be obsessed with this until
Yeah, because and I get it, screening the calls, but like typically people that in this use case that I'm looking at,
yeah,
they're qualified clients. So then it's like I either want to talk to them, but if I'm what I have going on is I'll have multiple calls come in. So I'm on the line with you, and then
yeah,
I'll get another call come in, and so I can't answer it. Or if I do answer it, I got to put the other person on hold. I answer that one. I
yeah,
collect the information. I tell them I'm gonna call them back. Then I switch back. So if I could just have the assistant pick up the calls that I can't get, like that would be phenomenal. Because then I already know what's going on because I heard the prompts in my head when I was listening to yours. Boom, I set all the prompts. They collect all the information. They send them the links that I need them to send. I already know what they typically need to see already, so I can get that out to them. And then by the time I circle back, they're still very, very warm and they haven't moved on. Long story
yeah.
short.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good use case. I mean, it definitely they need to build something like that in there
Mm.
because I was even thinking like if there was like kind of like the IVR where you have like the
Yeah.
trigger, or if you built out like if we could have the trigger like incoming call, wait, or you have that wait. This is why I need to work out the steps, but I'm just thinking out loud.
Mm.
You have the wait step before the voicemail picks up, right? But when you associate the AI agent, none of that, it like overrides all of that. But it would be cool to have like that step where you're either waiting for it to pick up, or you can choose, like Martina saying, like ring or like pick up after like the third ring or something like that, kind of like we do the voicemail, except it would be the AI agent.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be helpful. Or maybe
Extreme.
it would even be cool if you could build like have the IVR so that it picks up and it says, "Thank you for calling, da 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 da. If you'd like
Mm.
to speak to the agent, press one. Or if you'd like to speak to Charles, press two. If you'd like to speak to, or finance or whatever you want
Right.
to say."
The
Or
only
you could add the workflow step to send them to the call center, AI
yeah.
agent, whatever.
So yeah, but then the only issue is like I want because if they ask to speak to me and then I'm on another line,
Yeah,
then it's still the same problem.
yeah,
But I like where we're going.
yeah,
We're eliminating or we're running into dead ends. I always the dead ends are exciting because we know, okay, that doesn't work, or that got us this far, and we need to take an alternate route. So I mean, it's still terrific either way.
And what would really be cool is if we could combine the AI agent and the IVR so that she's interacting and she can say, or he, whichever one you choose, and she can say, how can I help you today? And then they say, yeah, I wanted to speak to Charles. And then she's like, great, press 1 and I'll connect you to Charles or whatever, somehow kind of combine those two options in one would be awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I like it because it kind of, for a second, it does sound very like human,
Yeah.
so, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, you can catch on, but I don't know. I just thought it was really good. Secondary question. I don't know if anybody else has their hand up. I'm sorry. I hope they don't. Well, I hope they do actually. 'Cause I
It's
love the
Keith, but
questions.
yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
good. Go
Okay.
ahead.
When we were talking about the webinars, okay, so is it set up so that, and I couldn't figure that out. I know previously in other funnels, you could set it up so that they couldn't watch the video if you didn't have their contact information. Is it the same way in the webinar?
You could set it up like that, but it's not when you use the webinar builder, it doesn't set it up like that. But all
Right.
you have to do is just turn the broadcast page. You would have to just turn that option on where if they're not registered,
Okay.
then it would show the form.
I just overlooked it. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
you.
But like organically, like when you're going through the builder process, it doesn't automatically set that up, even though that might be kind of cool to just add that in there.
Right, because I made a webinar way back when before
Uh-huh.
on GHL, and so I had that feature on, and then when I was looking at this one, I didn't necessarily see it. I just probably overlooked it or
Do you
whatever.
know how to turn it on?
You can always show me because
Okay.
things are changing.
Yeah. What? In HighLevel?
Yeah,
You're crazy.
it might be in a new spot now.
Yeah, let me show you real fast here, and then I'll get right to you, Keith. All right, so let me share my screen. And
I'm asking about webinars too, so feel free to go all out on this one.
cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that it is a webinar platform, which is quite different than a webinar builder. So that's I notice a lot of clarification I'm having to give for that. Okay, so the here's the option right here. Okay, so when you have redirect unregistered visitors, if this is your broadcast page, you can toggle this on, and then you can tell it what page they need to go to register.
Mhm.
Or you could also even do this option here, generate leads from the video. So like, of course, this wouldn't make much sense if you're using this page as like double duty, like part of your funnel, and then also the broadcast page, because this is going to show up even if they are a lead. So you don't really want them to have to re-register to watch the video. So for that case, I would do the redirect unregistered users
Right. Okay.
that they can
Yeah.
register.
Yeah. Because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, where is
Yeah.
that on the funnel builder? But I on the
Yeah. Just click on the video and then you'll see those options here in the
understood.
general tab.
I'm in the process of getting that done right now.
Cool. You're like me at the Level Up Summit. Like it's like Christmas when you're watching all that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Go ahead, Keith, man. I got mine. I got mine built already, so I don't. Yeah, got fine tuning questions.
Nice. So part one is I currently have the Zoom Workplace account. I see that it's called. Is that what you have, or have you added on Zoom webinars or sessions or events?
I just use the cheapest Zoom plan. It's like I think it's like $15 a month or something.
Okay. And then is there a workaround? So I'm gonna end up with probably 3 or 4 sub accounts of my own, and then I'm also probably going to run Zoom meetings for other clients also. And I'd love to not have to pay, in Canadian, it's 215 bucks a year for the base account. Is there a workaround? Because I'm only going to be doing one at a time, um, to have people register from multiple places into the same Zoom account and hold a meeting with them that you know?
You mean a workaround to having a Zoom account, like a paid
So I
Zoom?
have sub account one, sub account two, and I put my Zoom link, or I link my Zoom account in sub account one. Can I use that same account in sub account two, three, four, five?
No, you can only use one Zoom account per, or you can only use your Zoom account in one sub account.
So that's connected to funnels and giving people links in automations. Is there
No,
a
it's
way I can just,
connected to your calendar. So like when people are booking and you have in your profile, you have your meeting location as Zoom and you connect your Zoom account to that. When someone books an appointment through your calendar, it goes to Zoom and it creates that event and then they get their own meeting link. And then when they're receiving emails, like reminder emails, that specific meeting link is populated in there as the meeting location. So that it's really only pertaining to that. So if you're using it for webinars, it really wouldn't be that big of an issue because you're building the webinar funnel like I showed in the training, but you're just adding whatever meeting link to the webinar that you want to redirect to.
okay. And is there an obvious better solution for webinars than Zoom?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Webinar Kit is one that a lot of people use. I know that HighLevel is coming out with their own at some point. I don't know when that'll be. And of course, I always say, if you need it now, don't wait. Like the last thing you ever want to do is be like, well, they'll eventually come out with it, so I'll wait. If you need it now, use whatever is available now. But HighLevel or Zoom is great for webinars. It's probably the most popular one, but there are webinar platforms like Webinar Kit. I think they even integrate with HighLevel that make it a better webinar experience. So a lot of the times they can build funnels. A lot of the times they have like pre-built pages, whereas Zoom, you need to have like the webinar plan, and then you can embed the video into, a page, like things like that. But the functionality is really like the same as Zoom, as at least from my experience. I haven't used a webinar platform in a long time. I've just always used Zoom. I also think that Zoom is really easy for people because they're so familiar with it. They don't feel like they're, going off to some like weird link or something they have to download or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
really,
That's definitely a good point there. Um, in term, quick follow-up, you mentioned that Webinar Kit and obviously other applications we might be using will have their own funnel builder or landing page functionality.
sometimes, yeah.
In your experience, should we always kind of go put the extra work in to put it within our own high-level agency account versus having other funnels?
I always like to do everything in HighLevel. And it benefits you. One, the cost. I mean, why pay for something else if you don't need it? But two, you also have like, let's say it's a pre-recorded webinar. You can, upload it and you can host it there. You can set automations based on the views. Something else that's great about even if you put your webinar like embedded into a high-level page, you can send emails based on the page view. You can, and add your buttons there, which you could essentially do that with any page builder. You could add your chat widget on the page really easily, but again, you could embed that into a page if the page builder allows you to do that. But I have just found that even when things appear to be a little bit easier than doing the workaround, it's also it's like you have the learning curve, and then you have the trying to get them to talk to each other, and then you have like the speed of it, right? It's like if I'm going to create a webinar and it's not like my flagship offer where it's like my main funnel that I'm going to launch my $1 million campaign on and all of this stuff. I just feel like it just takes me no time at all to just like get something set up on HighLevel. Whereas if I'm using something else, the time is probably going to double. And then I don't have all the same functionalities I do like with a HighLevel website page. Like even in, when I say you can view the activity, like in their profile, when you go to look, in the activities section, you can see all of the pages and all the activity that they have made as long as it's a HighLevel page. And so those types of things you don't get to see if you're using an outside page builder.
Makes total sense. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Miss Martina, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. So I posted a question in the chat. You probably didn't catch it. I know you're on two platforms. But is it correct that the agent that we're using for the virtual agent, is that per site fee, or is it an agency level fee for all, or is it an agency level fee for each individual client, meaning each individual snapshot?
So it's basically what they did was they combined, like the conversation AI, the chat widget. There was like an unlimited plan. I think it was like $79. And then you could use the AI inputs. That was all like unlimited. So what they've done is they have raised the price of that to $97 as our agency cost. Okay. And that's per sub account. So each sub account will need to subscribe, whether you build it into their current, like your new plans, or you upsell them on the AI agent. Your cost is $97 for unlimited, and that includes like the AI image generation. Like if you're using AI for the blogs, if you're using the conversation AI or the AI agent with the receptionist, all of those AI content tools would be unlimited at that price. So you can mark it up to whatever you want to. But your cost is $97 a month per sub account.
And that's inside, if you're doing it under the SaaS. If you're at the before the SaaS, the 297, I think I saw 127. Was that because it's me as a sub account doing it, not me
Yes.
as an agency level? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Right now, if your current sub accounts go to like use it or upgrade or whatever, they'll see 127. But your actual cost is 97. So that $30 would be your profit.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You guys have any other questions? Martina, do you have another question? You just still have your hand up. Which you're welcome to if you'd like. Did you guys see all of the blog posts that had all of the level up? Now, in this blog post, there's only, I think they said like 200 or something, but I'm hearing over 300 features. So I will post this in the chat if you guys want to check it out. Manolo, you have a question?
Yeah, that would be great. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I just wanted to comment on Zoom. I use a lot of systems, including Descript and Rescream and Dub. And the reality is that when it comes to virtual background, Zoom is the only one that does a good job.
Mhm.
The other ones are, I mean, I like Dub because you can send emails with your, you know how that works, and Restream because you can restream everywhere else and you could do this. But the only one that has the best background, virtual background, is Zoom. There's no question about that. That's the only system that has it. The other ones lag, has a lot of hassles. Zoom is the best for that. So I'm doing all my videos on Zoom and then I load them anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because,
And I feel like there's so much to be said about the familiarity people have with Zoom. When you guys log into Zoom, you're all familiar with it because almost everybody's, by the time you get to this program, you've probably been in 1,000 Zoom meetings, you know. So it's like, and of course it just depends on your customer and all of that. But most people have had Zoom meetings. So when you're looking for where to ask a question, or you're looking for where to turn your camera off or on, or the virtual background, like you and I do agree with what you're saying about the virtual background. I would have to say Zoom is probably the highest quality. And I do love how you can do the avatars, and you can even blur out the background, which is really important, especially when you're working from home and your living room and kids and everybody is or your husband's walking around with no shirt on, and you're
yeah,
trying to have a meeting. It's nice to be able
so
to blur that out.
your presentation on the dime, you just could go from, from one of my accounts to another account on Zoom, and they can't tell the difference. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Keith, you have another question?
Yes, thanks. So I talked with HL Pro Tools the other day,
Mhm.
and I'm a big, I was a big Story Brand Donald Miller fan, Alex Ramosi fan also, and I saw that, that's built in, I guess, a prompt set and then some sort of storage within Hey Levi.
Mhm.
And the gentleman I was talking with on Zoom with them was saying, you don't really need Hey Levi. You can do it all with, um, well, I'm blanking on the name, but you guys
Chat
do it with, no, sorry. No,
form.
it's the screen that you have with all the different prompts, like book an airline flight or something, or your terms of
FormWise.
FormWise, yeah. You've dug deeply into both of those. Would you agree that Hey Levi is good value on top of what FormWise can do in terms of, from my point of view, a realtor or any type of plumber, whatever, to build their own brand stuff, their own avatar stuff, and have it all stored and organized in the way that they've organized it? Is that worth it?
So there's like two really different functionalities of FormWise and Hey Levi. What I love about Hey Levi is the simplicity. So when it comes to um, you add it to your HighLevel account, and it's so simple for people to understand. Love, love, love the building the brand profile, all of that. I've not seen that on FormWise, but I also haven't logged in a few months, and they're always massively updating the tool and everything too. So that doesn't mean that that's not really there, but FormWise is the benefit of FormWise is you, the agency, if you have really specific, really complex prompts that you want to use, FormWise would be better for that because you have more, like more options when it comes to building the prompt and also building prompt chains, right? So it's like if I want them to ask, I want this form to ask these questions. I'm gonna mute you. So like this form is going to ask them the questions, and then you're going to take that answer, and then you're going to build that into different stages in the prompt. That's like a prompt chain. So if you want something really complex like that, FormWise would probably be the best bet. But if you're looking for something that you want to kind of universally provide a good brand story, things like that, and you want to make it really easy for the end user, I think Hey Levi kind of gets them on that one, right? Because it's just so easy embedded into your HighLevel account. They store the brand, like they tell the system what they want to tell them about their brand, and then from that you create all of the content. Right. But if you're techie enough, and you still, even in Hey Levi, you can add your own prompts, but the prompt builder is not as complex as it is on FormWise.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm getting hit in the face right now talking with my leads on it has to be dead simple and as fast as possible, and just, hey, here's what it's going to look like. I'm going to do most of it for you. Just follow these things. So I think Hey Levi is a good add-on for me. And then for me, marketing to real estate clients, I think FormWise and creating more complex, automated self-serve type stuff for the market makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they both have their place in the market for sure. I just think like, yeah, it's like we're saying, like I can show you here. Like we have Hey Levi, just for those of you watching who are like, I don't know, I've never heard of any of these. This is what I love about Hey Levi. It's like you store your brand, you can even like store your brand voice. You can add different products and things like that. And this is really the key functionality here. It's like this is all really catered for the end user to make it very simple for them to start using AI. And it's obviously it's great because any of these options here, there are also tools in FormWise. But if you create, like, let's say a business plan on FormWise, you, the agency, to get that to have a really good output or a really good result for them, you have to make sure that you are storing in all of the stuff like, you know, basically everything about a business plan. But unless you build a step where they're going to be able to input their information and their product and all of that stuff, then it's not going to be as good or user friendly as this option is going to be because we've already trained it with everything about our business up here. So for the end user, it's like they train it up here with their, you know, their business, and then they're free to use any of this and it's all going to be relevant. Whereas FormWise, you'd have to create that tool. And I think that they do have an option now where you can input the website and train it that way. But I just like the ease of use when it's like you train it one time and then everything will work for your specific brand.
So if I'll just keep going unless somebody else puts their hand up here, if you don't mind. But so if a client of mine or myself or my sub accounts in my real estate business wants to create, 5+ posts a day, and I've done all the work to set up Hey Levi and I create content there, is a best practice or a reasonably easy within the HighLevel account to go to BrandBlast next? Is that a necessary add-on, or is it easy enough to just load it into the social planner?
Yeah, you actually super easy because let me share my screen again. What you can do is when you create your, your brand profile here, you can just export this as a PDF. And then when you go into the BrandBlast, then you can go to where it says brand context, and then you can just upload that document and then train it. Of course, you'd probably want to fill out all of these here just to be, more specific. But that gives you that makes it really easy because you're not training multiple times. You train it once, get that brand profile, and then you upload the document here.
For the creation of the posts themselves, obviously, Hey Levi has a lot of specific options. I haven't worked with BrandBlast yet. Does it also do the exact same thing, or is it?
So what BrandBlast does is it allows you to create the campaigns. And then, and it's trained on your business. So it's creating relevant campaigns. But then what it's doing is it's creating, let me go here. So it creates all of this. And it also creates the images and Hey Levi can do all of that. But what BrandBlast does is it actually allows you to connect your social accounts. And then when it creates the content or the campaign, you can tell it like create a post like once a day for the next 30 days. And then it will not only create the post and brand it for you, but it will also schedule it out for you. So you can see here, like all of these posts are already scheduled for the time. I guess I told it like one time a day. Now, all I need to do with this is just click publish and then they're scheduled. So, like with Hey Levi, what you'd have to do is take the content and then you'd have to copy and paste it in the scheduler. And then you would then choose the day and time and what platforms you want it to be on. And then, so it's just an extra step.
So for a busy realtor client of mine, I convinced them, hey, Levi's worth it, and they've got their sub account. Would you recommend, and they want to make many more posts to social media than they're currently doing. They're not as creative to be able to think of it themselves. What would you recommend I set up for them? Would it be all three, or?
If you really want to just wow them with the value, I'd say all three. If not, if you want to work your way up to that, I would say, hey, Levi, and then just teach them to use your brand or the HighLevel social media scheduler to schedule it out. It wouldn't be as fast, or maybe you want to even do like an upsell to explain to them, like, here's what we have. You can create this and you can schedule it and whatever. And if this is too much work or this takes too much time, I can upsell you to your version of BrandBlast.
Great, thanks.
Miss Martina.
I was just going to say, watching as an individual who is learning from you, I hope everyone is seeing that you're inside of your vision agency and you're able to share and show us and train us at the same time on all the other platforms, but you're still inside your vision agency. I hope somebody caught that because that was huge to see how we could add those custom links and menus inside of our own platform and not have to keep leaving the platform to show the other things that are a part of our system. Brilliant, Bridget. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm glad that you pointed it out because that's one of my favorite things about being a software reseller, right? It's like so many people think that we need to, okay, we're white labeling HighLevel. I guess we have to provide a service or a snapshot or something like that. But we can actually create massive value just by adding software that takes none of our time, that makes us stand out from every other agency selling HighLevel. And it's reoccurring income. And again, it takes none of our time. So it's like I openly tell people everything that I'm using. I couldn't be more transparent. And the reason that I do that is because one, I want my resellers to know, like, this is what I'm using and this is what you can do too. And here's what I did. But also, I want my non-resellers to know, like, look at all the money you're saving by signing up to my HighLevel agency instead of trying to piece all this out and figure it out yourself.
Absolutely.
Ooh, passive income, man. That's the way to go. We want it passive. If you decide to spend your time doing something else, web builds or coaching or whatever, cool. That's icing on the cake. But we really want that passive income. That should be the foundation. And then everything else is just gravy. Keith, how can I help you, sir?
I'm on team passive income too.
Yeah.
To an idea. And I love what Martina pointed out is the home base of it all, because you get your real estate license here anyway, and you have to have 42 different accounts with passwords, and this passes along, and you have a million different jobs. So that's awesome. Question on, so sometimes you have theme weeks for a software or whatever, and then sometimes you create a snapshot in addition to teaching how to do it. Are you going to keep going with that type of model? Because I've noticed some other HighLevel coaches and companies starting to market and sell snapshots, plus, how to work with them and how to implement them into your agency business. Are you going to stop doing that or continue, or you just do it when you feel like it? Or
When I went to the summit, somebody said it was the last day at the affiliate day, and they said, "So, what did you learn this week? Are you going to change anything?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going to change anything, actually." But it was obviously great value that I got, and it confirmed a lot of things that I already thought and things that I do. But the thing that I love the most about the way that I structured this business is I want to be a resource, right? And I can and I do sell the snapshots that I create from a series. But you guys, and you can all attest to this, never do you see, oh yeah, we created this whole series. I'm giving you the snapshot, but never am I telling you guys, oh, but it's an upsell. And a lot of like programs will do that to you where it's like they get you in and then you just want to upsell, upsell, upsell. And it makes sense because that's the value ladder. It totally makes sense. But I honestly have more fun just providing the value. And it's easier for me to do my upsells by saying, hey, do you like this tool that I've given you a free account for? Use it. Use it for your own business. If you think your clients would think it's valuable too, here's my affiliate link. So that's essentially like my upsell model. So I don't ever want to continuously keep upselling. I can't stand that myself, and I don't want to do that to you guys. But I absolutely will. The next time that we're creating a like niche specific snapshot, I will always give that to you guys. But one thing I don't like about when people sell snapshots, and this is also why when I sell those snapshots, I also give the whole training series as well, because it's cool that we have a snapshot and we feel like it saves us so much time, and it can. But if you don't know how to use that snapshot, then it's super overwhelming. I almost feel like it's counterproductive because then you're trying to figure out, oh, well, this isn't working and this broke and now I have no idea like how to fix it or even where this is at. And so it's like I feel like a lot of people, they love building and they build these great systems, but also how great of a snapshot is it if they haven't actually implemented this in a business, right? So I know, Keith, when you first joined, you were asking about real estate, and I said, nope, I stay in my lane, I practice what I preach, and that's it, right? Because I've never been a real estate agent. So a lot of the times if people sell snapshots, I feel like a lot of the time it's like theoretical. Like, here's if I was a real estate agent, here's what I would do. And so if like my lawn care snapshot, that's on point. I dare anyone to argue with me about that. I know that's a good snapshot because I had a lawn care business, because I understand the process. I understand the follow-up. I understand that we need to integrate with other softwares. And so we build our HighLevel account to accommodate for that. There's all kinds of things that you can really only know if you've actually ran that type of business. So while I love snapshots and I think that it's a great starting point, if you don't have the training, it's kind of like tools, right? Tools without strategy. They're just tools.
yeah, I agree. Keep it up. The teaching for me, it's being able to see the whole flow in
Yeah.
my own system quietly on my own, and then realize that I have to make that piece of it happen in other areas. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay, great, thanks.
Also, something else that people that sell snapshots, like that's great and it may work for you and the instructions may be awesome and you get it set up and everything, but your business changes all the time. You guys notice my business changes all the time and your processes change. And then new features come out that you're like, oh my gosh, that's going to save me like 5 steps. I need to implement that new feature. But if you don't have that basic understanding, or you're just overwhelmed by the whole process and you just have no idea how to do that, who's there to support you? I mean, you could reach out to support, but they're not strategy people. So then it's like, then what do you do? Because this is where I found myself too in the beginning of my whole journey, which again, I always say, why I wanted to create this community, because I want you guys to have a place to go when those times happen. And you are stuck. You don't like, what's the best strategy? I talked to someone the other day about he had this big funnel and he'd signed a bunch of people up, and in the upsell, it was a trial to something else. Well, I know now, sure, he could have contacted support and gotten that the functional, process in place, and he did. But when you don't understand the strategy behind it, or you don't have experience doing that, you don't realize, oh my gosh, if you've done this, what's going to happen next month is you're going to have all of these chargebacks because people are not going to realize that upsell that they got for free was a 30-day trial. Now you're probably going to get your whole account shut down because it's 30 days later. And if you don't have reminder emails going out, now that's a huge problem, right? But if you don't have someone that has more experience than you, and that can be anyone, just like all of you guys have more experience than your customers, then you find yourself in this situation like, oh my gosh, oh, it's like disaster. Everybody is like wanting a refund and chargebacks, and my account got shut down. And who are you going to go to then? Who's going to help you?
There's a real blur here because of the nature of HighLevel's business model and how we're all coming in from different industries, and we have our own use case, and then we realize, wait a minute, we can set other people up in our industry with this. But the my end client, most of them are going to want it to be dead simple. They don't care what's happening in the background. And then coaches and people out in the industry are saying, go 100% SaaS. Like you don't want to talk to people, send them to HL Pro Tools or wherever else, and you have an automated funnel and recorded webinars and 2 hours a week and you're on the beach or whatever. So everybody's kind of striving for that model where you want to buy snapshots that are the highest level, highest quality, and are going to work. But then when we kind of need at the beginning, we need to understand what's happening. So anyway, you serve a great purpose in the middle. The new agency, you drop the hints on, don't do this because you're going to get a bunch of chargebacks, but as you mentioned, stay in your lane, not talking about the specifics about what you want to set up and add the extra software and passive income. It can be overwhelming,
Yeah.
especially with the features rolling out. So keeping it grounded and simplified is a big challenge, especially for personality types like myself, I think.
Yeah. And just because, like, if the end goal is to just coach and do affiliate marketing, you absolutely can do that. But start out, with your own agency, because it's really, and in business, like we want to diversify our income, right? So it's awesome that you can, for those people, and this is also part of what we do when we do consultations, right? We want to listen, like what are their goals and what are their existing problems, and how can I help them to get there. So if you're listening to these people and they're like saying, well, I need to be able to duplicate, and I want to like have my own brand, oh, I love how you have this, CRM and it's all branded to you, I would love to be able to do that, things like that. When you think you're talking to them and you think, man, they need their own HighLevel account, that's when you want to be an affiliate, right? Because you're still providing a great solution for them. You can still help them get set up. You can still help them, load up your snapshot and help them get set up. You can still help them do all of that stuff. And you're providing a solution that they're going to stick with and they're going to grow. And you will always be the person of contact that they go to when they have questions or need an additional item or whatever it is, right? But while you're doing that in the background, you can still be building up your own white label brand, and now you have income coming from two different places. And then eventually you hire someone to take care of your agency, and then you can be on the beach.
Yeah. If no one else has a question, I attended an Extendly webinar yesterday, and they're actually pre-selling, which is an interesting tactic, a big AI assistant marketing funnel for agency owners, get out ahead of everybody else that's selling HighLevel, et cetera, et cetera. And sorry, separate thing, the HL Pro Tools, the unicorns I brought up earlier in the week, I got a little more clarity on what that is. And I'm just kind of curious if you would want to be a connector for a similar thing. So the gist of it, from what I understand, is they interview and bring in high-level certified admins, which are going to be a wide range of skills. To, that's not the be all and end all of qualifications, as we talked about before, but they bring them on, they have their own training or testing, and then they pair them with someone like myself. So, I would love to be able to call you for 2 hours a day and say, I want it to do this, this, and this, and you're going to get it done in an hour, and it's going to take me 4 weeks and 6 sessions on here with questions in my hand up. And I don't need to understand everything. I just need to know the top level part of it, and I'll sell it because I want to be out there selling it as my main thing. So they'll pair one of these people that have passed the gauntlet, as they call it, within HL Pro Tools, and then get assigned. And the price per hour was very low, which leads me to believe they're, much like the phone center model, are not in North America. Would you be interested? Do you have a lot of people trying to go that route come in through this, or because that would be incredibly high value, like a mid-tier step? I asked you originally about a virtual assistant, and that didn't work out exactly, the hookup, but I'm still in search of that. And there would, I'd happily pay somebody much lower than your rate, unfortunately, at the moment, but eventually your rate will make sense. Do you have a desire to create a network like that? Do you have enough people coming and going through your community that you might pair up with business owners that have the need?
Hiring one VA is all the hiring I want to do. I just don't want to I don't want to get into that model where I'm hiring people and it's like basically it's creating a whole other business. Now, HL Pro Tools and Extendly, it's great for them because they already have all these things in place and they're hiring people and they can use the support people. They can use their already existing support people to just now they have an additional like income stream or additional like job to do or something like that. And I think that's great. I love that them being support for high-level agencies. I love that now we can go to them and say, hey, I need a VA, and then just have them handle it all. But for me, like that's what I would do. I'd say, well, you can actually contact HL Pro Tools and they can hook you up with a VA. That's the extent that I want to do when it comes to that.
We can't knock you off your program. Your program must be fantastic, and it works for us, but it must be working well for you too.
It does. And I also learned when I was in the lawn care business, when you create your processes, as soon as you start deviating from that, it causes you nothing but headaches. And so if you're ready for it, if you're ready to like branch out and just create a whole new business aside from your existing business, that's essentially what that would be like. And sometimes we want to do that. Sometimes we're ready for a new challenge. We get our business on lockdown and we're like, I think I could actually take on an extra thing. And we absolutely, that's what we do as entrepreneurs oftentimes, actually. That's what HL Pro Tools and Extendly, they're like, hey, we're ready to scale. We're ready to add on. And I think it's great. Also, because there are so many people that are going through the high-level certification program that it's like giving them opportunities, where they can get jobs and do, make money while they're learning and building their business and all of that. I think it's a great solution, just not one that I want to take on.
Fair enough. Thanks for today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Rick or Ray, I don't know who raised your hand first.
Okay, I read Rick's lips, and I think he said, "Go ahead, Ray." I just wanted to say the same thing about what you do. If you enjoy what you do, that's what you ought to stay with. And if you say, "Well, I'll move into this other thing," that I'm not really enthused about. It'll deflate what you're doing now. I think you're hitting what you do now with such great energy, and you like what you do. And if you didn't like what you do, you do something else and you get out. So I think where you're at is where you're happy. At least that's what I've gathered, and I recommend you staying with it.
Yeah. Love my free time. I do. And I know that I'm definitely I love to be challenged as well. But last year my husband had some health issues and things, and it really brought to top of mind. Like I've been hustling for so long that I'm just like I'm really enjoying the time where I can just kind of take a step back. I don't have to be so like in it all day long, I've built this system. Everything is like flowing really well, and I take on as much as I want to. But I definitely appreciate the free time, and who knows where we'll be next year. But I think it's important to realize what we're actually doing here. Like, are we building businesses to have free time, or are we just in this constant strive of hustle, hustle, hustle? And then when you are in that hustle, 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 how do you know that it's time to be like, okay, step back? I mean, what's that number for you? Is it like 10 grand a month, 25, 50, 100,000? And then when you get to that point, are you actually going to take a step back? Because sometimes that's a little challenging to do, but I think it's really important as well. Rick, I'll
Okay.
get you before we go.
Yeah, what I like, two things. What I like is how you have suggested a while back about design this business model around your life, what you want to do. I don't want to work 60 hours a week again, ever, or 90 hours on some weeks, I don't want to do that. But then the other thing that I was thinking about was when you were talking about the high level certification that people have done.
Mhm.
So Keith, here's what my thought was on that. If HL Pro Tools and some of these others are reaching out to these certified people to find unicorns for their program, can we go, High Level has a whole list of all these people, is for us to go and just interview them ourselves to find a unicorn that fits with what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
The
You know,
challenge there is I don't know what to ask, and it's going to take me a minute to figure out if they're full of it. And in the case of HL Pro Tools, they obviously have been supporting this app all day, every day, forever.
yeah, but so maybe there's one of these certified people. Just start interviewing them. Are you familiar with real estate? No. Okay, next. Go to the next one till you find one that says, "Oh yeah, that's what I was doing," or "That's what I've done," and you know. So I don't know. I'm just saying, if they're using them and interviewing them to be a middleman, they're right there. Maybe we can just directly, and it's not. What Bridget's doing is just wonderful. But if we need somebody else on a part-time basis that's fully knowledgeable about real estate, as an example, that would be great to have an assistant that is already real estate knowledgeable while you're going up the learning curve and I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I just want to throw that.
No, Rick, you just spoke like someone who's hired before.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's clear. Because you're like, I'll do that myself. I don't need, and I totally get it. Some of us have never hired before, and some of us have hired lots, and but if anybody's interested in hiring a certified partner, you're absolutely right, Rick. You can just go to directory.gohighlevel.com, and all of the people listed in there are certified high level users. So that is at least one level that has been broken down, which I'm so grateful that they have that, because going through all of that, and honestly, it would be cool if you're watching High Level, it would be cool. And I don't know that they don't have this where you can search through their levels of experience. Like if they are, have experience in real estate, or if they have experience in e-commerce, or, whatever, you'd be able to search through those different certified partners to see
Yeah,
it.
I think I kind of saw a resume of their background along with their certification.
Yeah.
So it could be, you know, I don't know if there's a search where you can search through all of them for real estate and
Yeah.
with a keyword and find out just who's in the real estate area. But
Yeah. Ooh, you could use that what is it, F10 that allows you to just click and then type in real estate, go to directory.gohighlevel.com and then do like, I think Ray is at F10 where you click and then it allows you to search the page for a specific word. You don't know? I think it's F10. Let me see here.
I'm all
I think
for
it is,
short.
but I've forgotten if I ever knew it.
It's Control F.
Control F. That's what
Control
it
F.
is.
Control
Yeah,
F,
yeah, the
find
find.
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of Google.
Yeah. So that's what you can do.
You-
I told you before, I don't use a lot of those shortcuts, but you could do that essentially and just look for all of the ones that have real estate.
You
And then
could make a funnel and then message them and have the whole process automated. I mean, they're GHL, so they understand that, and have them fill out whatever questionnaire you want to and get back to you, or watch a intro video that you put together on your business with Dub or whatever. So it's I think it's a lot of flexibility with that.
Yeah, they're on that page because they want people to call them. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what they're wanting, people to contact them. And I just think it's a resource there that could be very powerful. I don't know yet, but
Absolutely. I do want to spin the wheel. So let me call your name. Make sure, I'm going to share my screen. Just make sure that I call your name. Otherwise, you won't be entered. So we have Ray, Rick, Maria, Martha. Do we have a Martha here? Steve, Martina, Frankie, Keith, and Manny. Did I miss anyone? Let me make
I'm
sure.
not in there, so I got to be in there twice now.
Oh, is that the rules? Let's see. Well, you know, it's just going to be Maria or Ray again anyway. So,
I know.
all right.
Nah, I'm a first timer. It's gonna be me.
Oh. All right. Did I miss anyone though? Going once?
Don't
Going
forget
twice?
Frankie. Frankie's there, so she might
Yeah, I
be.
got Frankie. All right. You ready? There we go.
It might be Maria.
Whoa! Congratulations.
Cha-ching about time.
You misspelled my name. You spelled my name as Manny.
Oh.
That's good, Charles. Very good.
That's right.
All right. I will send you the link when we're done here. Did you guys have anything else that I can answer for you before we go? Because remember, I won't have open office hours on Monday, but we'll be back to that on Tuesday.
Nope.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great.
You were
All
talking.
right.
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
You were talking about the ability to use your spare time. What are you doing this weekend?
I don't know yet. You know, I really don't like to have plans. I like to just wake up when I want to, just go with the day.
Do
Whatever
something
I feel
different.
like
Yeah.
doing. Yeah. I'm too like rigid through the week where I'm like, I gotta do this time, and then it's like on Saturdays, I just love for it to be nothing. And I just do whatever I want. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Manolo, I'll send you the link when we're done here. I hope you have an awesome weekend, and I will see you all next week. Bye.